Portals. The mere mention of the word alone for most can bring up memories of a certain game made by Valve that so many, myself included, hold in such high regard. But for others, it can be a word of great mystery, hope, or even enigmatic trauma. Today, we take a dive into the mysterious Mount Shasta portals that have been the topic of great discussion in certain circles for decades. Now, by no means is Mount Shasta a stranger to the paranormal. In fact, just a quick Google will lead you down a wormhole of its own into all kinds of unexplained phenomena. An article found on Atlas Obscura, for example, reads the following. There's a well-known legend that says that somewhere deep beneath Northern California's 14,000-foot tall Mount Shasta is a complex of tunnels in a hidden city called Talos, ancient city of light. They were the residents of the mythical lost continent of Lemuria, which met its demise under the waves of the Pacific. Lemurians believed to have survived the catastrophe and are said to have settled in Talos, and over the years their offspring have been sporadically reported wandering around the area, 7 feet tall, with long flowy hair, often clad in sandals and white robes. Lemuria was a continent proposed in 1864 to have sunk beneath the Indian Ocean, later appropriated by occultists in supposed accounts of human origins. Occultist and founder of Theosophy, Helena Blavatsky, during the latter part of the 19th century, placed Lemuria in the system of her mystical religious doctrine, claiming that this continent was the homeland of the human ancestors, whom she called Lemurians. The writings of Blavatsky had a significant impact on Western esotericism, popularizing the myth of Lemuria and its mystical inhabitants. Getting back to Mount Shasta, any further research into it will show that this area is an absolute hotbed of UFO and alien activity, with reports counting into the hundreds, if not the thousands. So, with all of that being said, what exactly are the portals of Mount Shasta? Well, to simplify it, they're exactly that. A portal. The aura of mystery surrounding a portal can be summarized into one simple question. What's on the other side? For many, the answer here is simply Lemuria. Every portal that appears on Mount Shasta is an entrance into Lemuria. But for most others, the answer is completely unknown. A dark and eerie mystery that may be one you just might not want to find the answer to. The following stories are first-hand experiences found online. Now do with that information what you will, but we here at the Next Files like to suspend our disbelief when faced with surreal phenomena. In the early 1970s, my parents lived in a very remote area in Northern California. My father was an excellent hunter and routinely went into the woods to hunt deer. After one trip, he returned and told my mother he saw a portal appear in front of him. He said he wanted to go into it, but knew if he did, he couldn't come back. He didn't want to leave my mother or me. I was a baby. Unfortunately, within 6 months, my father died in a freak car accident on the way home from work. He lost control of the car, clipped the side of the mountain, and his vehicle rolled into the Klamath where he drowned. I've always remembered the story of the portal in the woods from my mother telling it to me a few times while growing up. And I recently was browsing books on Amazon and saw a book recommended. I previewed the first portion, which included the introduction, and the author talked about a life-changing event he had in the forest where he encountered a portal in the woods. A comment beneath it says, I grew up in that area and can confirm the storied legends of portals or thin spaces in that area. In particular, it's believed that the mountain conceals a portal to Talos, the City of Light, which has led to a slew of New Agey crystal folks surveying the landscape for portals. Another comment under that reads, I grew up in that area as well, And even that far up north, we knew stories of Mount Shasta. My Aunt Cindy told me a bonkers anecdote about people in robes paying for stuff with unmarked gold discs. She told me the story in the early 80s, so this had to have been before then. And either someone said the word Lemurian to me, or I read it somewhere. And now Lemurians and the people in robes seem mingled, but that could just be my cloudy memory. Further comments read, I've heard various accounts about portals. Sometimes they say it looks like a shimmer. People believe these portals open up to other dimensions. It's believed that the portals are made from vortices of energy. They often tend to be around mountains and ancient sites. People also think that Bigfoot uses these to travel. I'm not sure about that idea, but scientists have studied these places and a lot of times they have weird magnetic energy. A lot of people think it's good for healing. Here's another slightly more eerie first-hand account we found online. A while back, I went on a hiking trip with my father to Mount Shasta, a place we'd never been before, but right off the bat had this weird, sort of off-putting feel to it. I didn't think much of it at the time. My dad and I decided to go on our first hike of the day, and about an hour into it we came upon this opening with a very strange rock formation. I can't really put it into words, but it was just a bunch of various sized rocks and boulders all arranged in sort of semicircular patterns. Again, I didn't think much of it because this is sort of something you see a lot in these mountains. People tend to move these rocks around in weird patterns for fun or for what they think is crystal healing or whatever the case may be. It was at this moment we noticed something shimmering behind the formations. It was small and looked suspended about 5 feet in the air. We decided to go check it out, and as we got closer it got larger and larger until it was maybe roughly about as big as I am. We had no idea what the hell we were looking at. It was a shimmering hole that we could sort of see through, but we couldn't tell what was on the other side. The weirdest part wasn't even this insane enigmatic portal, for lack of a better word, that was in front of us. It was the fact that everything was dead still and dead quiet. There was no more breeze, no more sounds of nature, nothing at all was moving around us anymore. It was like time was frozen. Eventually we both thought it best we leave whatever this was alone and slowly started walking back up the trail. Things returned to normal the further we got away from it, and eventually when we returned down the trail and made it back to this area again, it wasn't there anymore. Both of us kind of never spoke of it that day, or ever again, really. But I'll never forget the feeling I had while being that close to it. It was just sheer terror. I'm not sure why people go searching for these quote-unquote portals. If this is what they are, I would avoid them. It felt evil. Now, with all that being said, a quick search of your own into Mount Shasta will show you that it's no surprise why this is such a famous, or infamous depending on how you look at it, area for the paranormal and the occult alike. This has been the first episode of The Next Files. I wanted to keep it on the shorter side as sort of an intro to this channel of sorts, but you can expect more things like this and longer versions in future episodes. If you like this video, please leave a like and maybe subscribe for more things like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.